Hey guys, we are working on a 2002 Mercury Cougar today with an ABS system problem. I have identified the vehicle already on the scan tool. In fact, I want to show you guys something real quick. I've panicked here. I had my new Veris Edge sitting on the windshield right up here. And I went inside the car to, I don't know, do something, try to make the key stop dinging at me, the door chime. And I hit the wipers and I knocked this on the ground. Look at the screen. That's probably the angle that shows it the best. And I'm freaking out because this is not even mine. It's the school's and it's brand new. Check this out. Really cool that this has this. It has one of those like glass pieces on the front of the tool, right? That you put on your phone. And it's just that part that's cracked. So that's cool. Fortunately, I can replace that. Dennis, if you're watching this, I apologize. That's my boss. I will replace this cracked, I don't know what they call it, Gorilla Glass or something. It's a replacement piece. Man, I'm just sick to my stomach right now. All right, anyway. So yeah, my head is not in the game at the moment because of that. Stupid, never put a scan tool on the windshield. I knew that. Anyway, let's get to the car. First thing is, and I'll put the scan data right here and you guys can look at the screen while I'm talking to you. I did an all system scan. A lot of you have questioned me in the past on why I don't do that. Mainly because I'm generally looking at one area of the car and I don't care about all the other systems. In this particular case, we're just attacking an ABS system problem and I don't really care about what's in the rest of the system. However, I did mention to my friend that I would look at the check engine light too, at least to give him the fault code. So I did an all system scan, and as you can see in my PCM, we have a anti-theft system codes. There's 2 of those, and a random misfire code. And then with the ABS system, this is our main one. This is what we will be doing for this video. We have a left rear wheel speed sensor, input missing, so we'll focus on the left rear for sure. And then a generic wheel speed error code, the C1222. And then ABS memory codes, we have the left rear again, same codes for both. I don't know why they're repeating this twice. It says memory codes here, memory codes here, and it's really just repeating itself. From there, we go to the airbag system. We have low voltage and control module faults for that. I'm not worried about the airbag system. And then in the instrument cluster, there's a low battery voltage. And I'm not sure what that is offhand, and I don't care. The low battery voltage faults, that makes me concerned about losing battery voltage while we're working here. So we'll see what happens. Our focus, guys, for this video, this left rear wheel speed sensor input missing fault code. All right, so next step is going to be, and it's a little bit tough with the cameras. I'm always thinking about what would be the best way to handle this. The next step, if I'm working in the field, would certainly be, let's pull up the data for the ABS system and look at the wheels and go take the car for a test drive. That's probably what we're going to do. Let me take a look real quick and see what we have. I'm gonna go into my anti-lock brake system and go to my data display. Awesome, we have wheel speed inputs that we can look at. That is definitely what we need to do first, is let's go take this thing for a ride. Okay, just sitting here trying to figure out where to mount my GoPro. And of course, it's cranking so slow, battery's dead. I freaking knew it. Well, it's a good test for this little guy. You guys have seen this before. And I had this sitting in my truck actually for the past at least month and a half, and I have not used it. So we'll see how this thing does. It's saying it's still 100% charged, but you know, we'll see. Try cranking it. Hear that alternator singing right now. So I got a little bit of crap for just a little bit for my first review of this tool, this no-code jump pack. And so I did a second part video for you guys that were a little upset with me, rightly so. You know, the tool was given to me and I was excited about it. But hey, guess what? I actually still am. It worked great for what I needed it for right here. In fact, I'm taking this with me on a test drive because this battery is so weak on this car. So let's go for a ride and see what we can recreate with this ABS fault. Looking at the scan data, if you look at the mile per hour on the scan tool, see it shows 1 mile per hour. That's pretty typical. I see a lot of these systems that they'll actually show 3 mile per hour on all the wheel speed sensors, even though you're not moving. So just pointing that out. Let's go for a ride. Remember, our code was for the left rear. By the way, when I was under the hood with that jump pack, I thought I heard some hissing. I'm not sure if that picked up on the camera or not. I think this thing has a vacuum leak, which will absolutely affect the misfire fault code that we have and give us the intermittent high idle that I heard. This thing is not running right, that's for sure. I can hear the hiss from here, actually. Okay, let's do something else here. This thing's actually going into an ABS stop now as I'm hitting the brakes. So left rear was the one. So it's producing a signal. Yeah, we can kind of see it, making sure there's no cars behind me. If you look at frame 249 on the left rear, right here, you see that we drop down to basically 0. Remember, 1 is 0. And at 249 here, we're still reading a mile per hour on each of the wheels, except for the left rear. So the left rear is dropping out sooner. We've done one of these before, haven't we? And then if you look at the pull out, I don't start making a signal till frame 230. And on the other 3 wheels, we're at 228 on the left front, 227 on the right front, and 227 on the right rear. So you can see, if you focus on this one right here, the top left, that this left rear wheel speed signal is, the signal is weak. And it looks like this is just going to be a speed sensor issue. Let's watch this a couple more times on a more zoomed in level. You guys will be able to see it better than me because I'm driving. There's something going on with this left front too. You see that signal on the left front? I'm hearing some clunking up front too. That's an annoying sound that the intake is making on this car. You guys hear that? And the car just stalled. That is super annoying. My RPM's about 2,000 right there, and it just stalled on me. This thing's got more than ABS issues, that's for sure. All right, our focus is most definitely on the left rear. Let's zoom in one more level here. Try to get the accel and decel event. I'm turning left here, so we'll see a little discrepancy in the left and the right wheels. Come to a stop. We'll look at this event. Okay, good. Right rear and left rear are about the same. I lose a signal on the left rear at frame 410. I lose the signal at frame 410 on the right rear, and you can see that my right front and left front are still producing a signal until frame 441. Let's look at the beginning of that. You see our problem a lot better here on the turn on, or the beginning of this tire rotation. Frame 397, all of my signals except the left rear. 398, we still have no signal on the left rear. 399, we're finally creating a signal. Let's watch this one more time. Just going straight here, no turns. Sorry for the shaky camera. Car just stalled. Piece of crap. There's a hooting noise from the intake. These older Fords, they had these bellows type idle air control. There's this plastic bellows that went over top of the spring for the idle air control valve, and they would actually crack, and then it would cause exactly what we have. Not saying that's what it is, but that was a long time ago, the older Fords. Okay, this ABS signal, 429 on the left rear, we lose our signal. 429, we still have a signal on the right rear and on the right front and on the left front. So clearly we have a left rear wheel speed sensor problem. I am not overly concerned that the right rear is a little bit weaker than the fronts here. We are definitely focused on the left rear. We need to see what that other code was though too. And that was, let's do that real quick. Let's look at our codes menu. This wheel speed error fault, this 1222, C1222, we'll go to the troubleshooter and hopefully it has that for us so we don't have to go and look it up. No code info. That sucks. Well, we can always do a Google search. The C1222 code, I'm gonna have to get you guys info on that at some point in time in this video, just to be sure we're not missing something else. I'm gonna take this back to the driveway and we'll jack this up and we'll do some tests on the left rear, maybe compare it to the right rear, get some scope signals on it or something like that. I don't know, we'll see. Going back to the house. I'll let you guys look at the wheel speed sensors again while we're driving. I'll do a couple of stops. I'm not going to watch it or pause it. I lied. Okay, we'll stay at that zoom level. Making a right turn right here. You might see a little discrepancy in the mile per hour on the left and the right front. Going straight now. ABS stop, although I'm stopping normally. I'll do a heavy stop or a quick stop here. Let's see what it does. So we could freeze these and look at them and you guys will see the issues. Okay, the clicking I'm hearing up front, there's some kind of suspension problem with this car. Like a sway bar link, possibly, or a not tie rod, ball joint maybe. The reason I'm saying not the tie rod is the steering feels tight. But I got some clunking going on up front. But that's not what I'm doing. Maybe a strut mount. Okay, one of the concerns that, whoa, that was crazy. I almost wasn't able to stop. The ABS pump did something weird. It just kind of pumped the pedal, made it really hard. I had to push hard to get the car to stop. And coming down my driveway. Anyway, one of the things about these systems is air gaps. I'm thinking on a Ford Windstar at the school, I had a student who did a rear brake job and bent the ABS speed sensor pickup away from the drive gear, away from the reluctor. So there was an air gap issue. Let's go back and take a look. It might be something simple like that. That would be cool. Okay, as you guys saw there, just briefly, I am being safe. I do have a jack stand underneath here. Hopefully these weren't Godzilla'd on here. Yep. Put the emergency brake on. Should have loosened the lug nuts before I jacked it up. This is why I do drivability stuff, so I don't have to do stuff like this. But for you guys to confirm this wheel speed signal fault, I need to take this wheel off. I don't miss this kind of stuff. Working in the driveway in the cold. Aluminum rims that galled to the steel hub. I've had to take these in the past. You guys know the routine. Put a lug nut on, smack on the tire back here with a big 5-pound sledgehammer without hitting the rim or damaging it, of course. Okay, again, I do have a jack stand under here. I am being safe, always. Wow, is that bad? Okay, so you can see the tone ring, you see the sensor, the black plastic piece that's sticking out there, that's going through the backing plate. And just look how bad, look how rusty this is. Let me see if I can get my light mounted so I can turn the rotor. Of course, the e-brake sticks. I can't turn the rotor right now. Oh my goodness. Hang on, let me free this cable up. That doesn't help things either. These brakes are all frozen. Sorry, they're not frozen. The pads are worn even. Just the e-brake mechanism. That doesn't help matters here. Now, I have never fixed one of these by cleaning a reluctor, that piece with the teeth. You know, there's a lot of different names for that. Drive plate, reluctor, whatever you want to call it. But this one's pretty bad. There's certain parts of it that I think might be worth trying. And there's metal shavings on the sensor itself. And so air gap is a concern. You know, question is a new sensor going to fix this? Or is this drive plate, reluctor, sorry, haven't settled on a name myself. Is that chipped right there? Is there teeth missing right there? Yeah, sure looks like it. Let me look at that with my naked eye real quick. For sure. You know, looking through this little 2-inch camera screen is difficult. Putting a sensor in this is not going to fix it. This needs a new tone ring. In fact, I don't think we need a new sensor at all. Just a good lesson on doing visual inspection with these. I think we would probably see that if we put it on a scope and looked at the waveform. I mean, that would be neat, but it's not necessary at all. In fact, looking at this connector, here's the sensor side of the connector. And then the harness cable comes around, comes down underneath, and actually goes into the fender right here, and probably goes into the floorboard in the rear. And so to get to the connector to do some tests, I think I'd have to maybe take part of the lower part of the back seat out. I'm not doing it. There's no reason to. It would be cool to see the scope waveform and see the issue on that, but it is absolutely not necessary at all. Trying to clean this is also not going to work. In fact, it would be a good idea to look at the other side too, but I'm going to have my friend take a look at that while he's in there changing this one to make sure he inspects the other side real close. I think as far as this video goes, the lesson here is a visual inspection. And on some of these, you know, you can't do a visual because it's part of the hub assembly and inside. So the ones that are internal that you can't see, you're not going to have this problem anyway. Just make sure, guys, that when you're doing ABS tests, that you're doing visual inspections. Remember, this sensor on this model makes its own voltage, and it relies on a reluctor and a proper air gap for it to be the proper signal. And yeah, that's probably about as bad as one that I've seen. So again, a 2002 Mercury Cougar with a left rear ABS fault code and a left rear tone ring that's damaged. Oh, I told you guys one last thing, we'd look up that other code. Let's do that before we end this video. Okay, the code is a C1222. Okay, I'm just doing a Google search, and what I'm seeing here is the reason the Mercury Cougar OBD engine code, the C1222 is a wheel speed mismatch. And so that's exactly, that makes sense for what we have with a tone ring that's screwed up. See if we can get yeah, this is another site, and again, it's saying that it is a wheel speed mismatch is the definition for that code. So we're good there, guys. All right, so that's it. Do your visual inspections is the lesson learned here.